Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. We welcome you all to our High Potential Week, an annual initiative taken up by People Matters along with Right Management. And this is the second year in a row for this unique initiative. We thank you all for the overwhelming response that we have received towards this initiative. People Matters and Right Management collaboratively organized this special annual initiative, the High Potential Week, the HYPO Week as we call it, helping organizations to decipher the right way to identify and develop high potentials within their teams. This is going to be a gateway for all of you to get answers to your questions in this arena. The first day of the week, which was yesterday, has witnessed a brilliant start to this initiative this year. We had our first webinar as well as a virtual coaching session, which was organized yesterday. Right Management is a global leader in talent and career management workforce solutions within the Manpower Group. The firm designs and delivers solutions to align talent strategy with the business strategy. With over 3,500 employees working out of more than 300 service locations in over 50 countries around the world, Right Management has the skills and resources in place to solve workforce management challenges and help grow talent, reduce costs, and accelerate performance. Within this week, from the 12th till the 16th of May, we will bring to you a series of events including video launches, webinars, content-focused newsletters, tweet chats, radio programs, virtual coaching sessions, and a master class. You could also follow the hashtag HYPOWeek for updates as well as visit the website www.peoplematters.in/hypo for more details. For today's session, which is going to be on the approach Sanofi has for the development of their hypos, we have with us Colombe Thaileen, Head Talent Management Sanofi, along with Pierre Joffre, Senior Vice President Talent Management Solutions, Right Management, EMEA region. This webinar will offer insights on Sanofi's drive for recognizing and developing hypos and providing learning on one of the biggest challenges the organization faces, that is, retaining and engaging their best talent. With that, without any further ado, let me hand it over to Tuhina Panda from Right Management. Over to you, Tuhina.
Hello, good afternoon everyone, and welcome to the second webinar of the HYPO Week. We're really happy to have you with us today as we share another success story of an organization who has really focused their energies and invested their time in building the talent pipeline of the organization, their global organization. So for today, we would be sharing the story of Sanofi. The organization is headquartered out of France, and they have launched a global initiative to develop, identify and develop high potentials across regions. And to share the story today, we have two facilitators with us from our France office, from the client office, to talk about the journey and the learnings from this assignment. A little bit about the topic that we will be covering. So we will be sharing the business case for investing in high potential identification and the development programs on behalf of Sanofi. We will also share the details of the process which Sanofi and Right Management worked on together to reach out to the high potential employees of the organization. We will also share from the viewpoint of multiple stakeholders who were part of the process and the benefits for each of them. So we hope to kind of share a holistic, perspective on the assignment, along with details of the process. Yes, multiple stakeholders involved, and the learnings and mistakes from this assignment, and what is the way forward. So to share this story with us today, we have two senior facilitators with us. First of all, we have Ms. Colombe Thaileen. She joins us from Paris as she's the People and Organizational Development Director at Sanofi. and has been in this role since 2012, November 2012. Ms. Colomb was previously the HR Development Director within the Sanofi corporate organization and was in charge of developing and implementing programs and tools dedicated to high potentials and leader development for the worldwide organization. She holds a master degree in management and a degree in psychology as well. Initially, she started her career with IBM, where she spent 5 years, and then spent 5 years in the metallurgy industry. Ms. Coulomb has also specialized in human resource development and continued to develop competencies related to this topic while following successive mergers of the company that she was previously in 96. We also have with us today Mr. Pierre Joffre. He is Senior Vice President Talent Management for Talent Management Solutions at Right Management. He also joins us from France today. Pierre has over 20 years experience in leadership effectiveness, supporting individuals, teams and organizations facing larger challenges. He has designed, sold, project managed and implemented extensive talent management solutions for global organizations across industries. He contributes to the Right Management Global Center of Excellence as well and helps in building consultant skills capability as well as launching new solutions to the market. Pierre holds an MBA and started his career with an organization called Omnicon, where he held multiple roles before moving into human resource consulting. To share a little bit about the agenda today, what we will be covering. So we will spend initial few minutes to first share the business case for investing in high potential identification and development, where Pierre and Ms. Coulomb will present together the business case, and then go on to share more about the process that was actually used before going into sharing the benefits that emerged from this assignment. We have around 10 to 15 minutes blocked for the end of before the end of the webinar to take questions from the audience. So you're most welcome to share your questions in the Q&A tab on the right side of your screen, on the webinar screen, and we will address them towards the end of the webinar. Thank you. With this, I would like to pass it on to Pierre to start with the presentation.
Okay, thank you very much, Tuhina. Hope you can hear me all right. And yes, definitely we will start with the business case for investing in your high potential talent, starting with the generic business case, and then obviously we will move on to the specific situation that led Sanofi to invest in this area. Basically, this is research we have conducted together with people like the conference board, and in almost half of the companies, leaders are perceived to be insufficiently prepared to meet the future business challenges, and especially the leadership pipeline is considered as relatively weak in the vast majority of organizations. Only 13% of senior managers and HR professionals consider they have an ample pipeline. So when you want to grow your pipeline, well, guess what? You need to identify and develop your high potentials to grow the talent internally. We partner with the conference board every year for what we call the CEO Challenge, where we ask CEOs to express what keeps them awake at night and what their top priorities are. And talent is the number one priority, not only for HR people now, but also for CEOs as a key enabler to company growth and to executing the business strategy. And within this talent priority, when you look at addressing the talent gap, well, the number one strategy, you could hire talent from the outside, you could do a variety of things, but the number one strategy is growing talent internally. So basically, for organizations to be competitive in today's world, there's a need to invest in high potential talent. We generally define a high potential as someone who can perform successfully in a leadership role 1 or 2 levels above its current role within the next 2 to 5 years. And it's easy to intellectually agree with this, but we all know this can be a challenging journey. The key challenges that we observe supporting organizations and global organizations on this are around, well, 3 things. First of all, identifying the right people, then making sure you stretch and develop them in an effective way, and last but not least, that you measure the return on your investment and the outcome. Typically, the identification challenges are around, very often investing in the wrong people. A top leader told me this person was a high potential. Yes, but how reliable is this? And very often there's a confusion between high performance and high potential. High performance is today's results, but high potential is the ability to move further ahead, which is a totally different story. Another thing we will come back to in a couple of minutes is very often companies are using what we call outdated success profiles to assess future leaders, because we are in a fast-changing world, in a fast-changing environment, and what it will take to be successful in 2 to 5 years is different from the good old recipes that allowed people to be successful in the past. So that's typically the kind of, traps or mistakes in high potential identification. And our role at Right Management is to help our client companies select the right people for the journey. Assuming you have selected the right people, well, then the next challenge is around developing them in an effective way, stretching them, taking them out of their comfort zone, and making sure they're ready for the next assignment. So the typical challenge is here, failing to align development activities with business goals. Development in a vacuum. Just, individual or self-development for the sake of it, but not connected enough to the business imperatives of the company. This is a typical mistake. Very often people who go through development initiatives say, yes, it was, nice or interesting, but at the back end of it, there's a lack of a structured development plan, something that can be monitored, something that can be followed up, something that the organization can support. So we really make sure in our programs that this development plan piece is robust. Especially for high potential people, the standard generic programs sometimes do not engage them enough, and you have to engage those people not only intellectually but also emotionally if you want to make sure they grow and develop in an effective way. So that's something to keep in mind when you create and design a hyper development program. The last type of challenges are around measurements. How will we measure? How do we make sure that this investment we're making in our top talent or in our high potential talent has a return on investment, that it has an impact on the individual performance of the person, but that also has a more systemic and organization-wide impact. And also there's no magic recipe to this. It's important, in the early days of building a program, to identify and to define those KPIs, whether it's about retention of these key talents or other stuff, but KPIs that will allow to demonstrate the return on investment. So this is it basically in terms of the generic business case. But more interesting to you, I think, than just a generic business case is this a real life situation where we have been partnering with Sanofi. So I'd like to pass it over to Colombe Thielin, who will tell you about the specific challenges that Sanofi was facing.
So good morning to everyone, or good evening. Thank you for inviting me to this testimony. And first of all, this at a glance, the main figures about Sanofi. So Sanofi is the first healthcare company in emerging markets in 2013. We have globally, worldwide, 110,000 employees in more than 100 countries. Our sales is 32.9 billion in 2013, and 1/3 of this business is made in emerging markets. So emerging markets is, as you can see, the intercontinental region is the one that is shown here on the map. So it's not all emerging markets. We also can say that emerging market is also Brazil and all the South Americas. But we have in this intercontinental region majority of emerging markets. You see Africa, India, Russia here, and Turkey, Middle East, which are parts of our region. So in the region, and talking about talents, we have identified some observations regarding our talents and linked with the business challenges that we have. So the first business challenge for us is that the growth strategy of Sanofi is built on some growth platforms, and these growth platforms are sometimes businesses like diabetes, for example, but also intercontinental and emerging markets. So intercontinental is really one of the levers for the future of Sanofi. So looking to the goal that we have in people management regarding this business challenge is that we need to prepare the local teams in our region to reach the business challenges, as this business will grow very fast. So we have to make sure that the leaders there are growing also quite fast to bring this business to the level that we want to have and to reach. The second observation is that our talent pipeline is viewed as not strong enough in intercontinental. We have only in our talent process 35% of key positions which have a ready now potential successor, which we feel that is not enough to make sure that we can reach our business challenges. So the goal in people management is to upgrade this succession planning, and we need to start by assessing our A-2 to the management committees to make sure that we have the next line, the successors of our management committees ready to take these key positions in the countries. The third observation is about what we know and what you know also. The turnover and the talent competition in our countries is very strong and very high and very tough. So the talents really want to have a quick career ladders and to grow with the company and to grow in their careers. So we have really a challenge in retaining our key talents. And one of the levers of the retention for us is really to give them strong development plans, and they can see that they will progress either with their careers but also with their competencies with the group. So that's what we want to do through also these programs that we have put in place. The fourth observation that we have made is that diversity at the top management of Sanofi should be a big lever for the company as we are going to grow in our regions, in the intercontinental region. And as of today, the number of key positions at the top level who are with some people coming from emerging countries is very, very low. So we have to grow and to accelerate the career of selected talents in our emerging markets and emerging countries. And the last observation about the business is that the future capabilities that we have to put in place for growing and to continue to grow Sanofi are not the same ones that those on which we have built the successes in the past. So we have to develop a human capital management approach built on a new leadership profile for the future success, and the programs that we put in place helps us also to reach that goal. So we had a reflection 2 years ago with the right management, and we decided to select their proposal and to put in place some programs which are a key component of the talent management process that we have for the next future. And the solutions that we have selected is through two different programs, what we call the ECE, Evolution Center for Excellence, and the ECL, which is the Evolution Center for Leadership. So at different levels of seniority of the management. So ECE is built for senior leadership people, talent, and executive potential from our scope. I will let Pierre go more in detail into what are the components of this program. The second program is the ECL, Evolution Center for Leadership, specially designed for high potential leaders and with people that we think we have to invest on to reach our business goals. And this ECL have been since now delivered globally for Sanofi and also locally in some regions, and in India, Africa, Asia, and Latin America, because in these specific regions we have to grow more quicker than in some other regions which are already well equipped for some of them. So we have decided to accelerate the process in these countries. And up to now, so far, we had 42 people going through the ECE program, 171 in the ECL program, and it is going very fast now, especially because we have these regional sessions. In India, for example, we have 50 people. In Africa, we'll have 45 people. Asia and LATAM also quite the same numbers. So we are going very quickly through these regional sessions. And the objective for ECE and ECL is to have 600 future leaders going through this program over the 3 next years. So we hope, and we hope to see already in 2014 the results with the talent development process, with more future ready now people identified for the key positions in the group. So now I will let Pierre explain the design that we have put in place in these 2 different programs.
Thank you, Colombe. And basically, what you see here in terms of the solution design is just the methodological steps we took. So we started with, the Sanofi growth and transformation strategy at the center, and then it all started with defining the success profile. What is going to be required for our high potentials to be successful moving forward? From there, we designed the assessment process, and then we deliver the assessment, we provide feedback, we have development initiatives to accelerate development, and we make sure we measure success over time. I just want to be a bit more specific on the success profile. What do we mean by success profile? I mean, when you look at your top talent or your high potential individuals, generally, internally within the organization, you are pretty well equipped with two of those four quadrants. You are pretty well equipped in what those people know, their knowledge, and you are pretty well equipped also on their experience, their bio, what they have done in the past. So this is a place where you don't really need support from the outside world, because you know. The places that are more challenging are the two other parts, the two other quadrants of the success profile. In terms of skills and capabilities, and especially around leadership skills, what is going to make the difference moving forward? And we spend some significant time looking into this, as well as looking into the personal attributes, elements of who those people are. I mean, just to name one, the curiosity or the ability to demonstrate comfort in ambiguity are elements that are really personal attributes and are not necessarily fully trainable. So we're not going to go here and now into the details of the Sanofi success profile, because that kind of belongs to the organization and it's specific and by design confidential. But this is just to give you a sense of what we're looking at when we design those kind of programs. And then, we provide outside-in input, because when we designed the success profile, more than 20 top executives from the Sanofi organization were mobilized in terms of, expressing what, in their view, is needed for future business success. Additionally, we provided the right management high potential framework as food for thought around those three key elements, because a high potential can only be called a high potential if the person has and demonstrates sufficient career drive and aspiration. If this person demonstrates agility, and agility is a mix of operational agility, make it happen here and now for the short-term results. Strategic agility, which is around being able to create a vision for the future of their role or their part of the organization, and obviously the interpersonal dimension for agility as well. And the last piece is this organizational confidence and work performance. This is about the people who network in the right way in the organization, the people who are visible in the organization. So this is input from our side, and at the same time we are using in this program tools that some of you may know and be aware of. I mean, we have a privileged partnership with Hogan Assessments and use the full suite in these programs. So the personality inventory, the motives, values, and preferences, which is around the drivers. But if I had to single out a golden nugget, if you wish, the diamond of those tools is really the derailers tool, the development survey, because it's very impactful to be able to tell those high potentials, this is what normally is a strength for you, But when you get under pressure, when you get stressed, this is how you might derail. This is what could get in the way of your future success. So back to the promise that Colombe made a minute ago. What are those processes about? Let's start with Evolution Center for Leadership. So this is high potential. We gather cohorts of 8 or 12 people in different places around the world. And the process they go through is before the event, beyond all of the communication, they complete psychometric tools, including the Hogans I talked about a minute ago. They also complete a Leadership 360 survey, and then they have a pre-read for their business simulation. And then the event combines in a one short, impactful 3-day concept the 3 dimensions. And the first day is basically an assessment day, so they go through all of the assessment. We arrange to have a very quick turnaround so that on the second day the feedback is already ready to be provided to them. So the second day is primarily a feedback day, discovering the richness of the feedback coming from the 360, the psychometric tools, the simulation, and integrating all of those pieces, being supported by a consultant and coach to do that. And the third day is totally dedicated to development. The third day is a so what. Now that I've received feedback, what do I do with it? How can I identify my development priorities and start working on a concrete development plan? And for this, obviously they use the support of their consultants and coaches, but they also use peer support. And we have observed that peer-to-peer development is extremely effective because, basically those guys, those people, they tend to face similar challenges. So if they support each other, their development plans will be even richer and even sounder. So this is in a nutshell the 3-day event, after which, for the individual, there are 3 coaching sessions moving forward to make sure that all of this comes real, and it's not just, I have created a development plan and then nothing happens. And for the global organization, obviously we gather on a very regular basis aggregated data that we feed back into Sanofi so that they have a better understanding of what is the talent they have at the moment, and beyond individual gaps, do they have collective gaps that they may want to address through specific programs.
And after the pre-individual coaching sessions, the topic is also handed over to the HR and management within Sanofi, and here we have regular one-to-one sessions with the participants to see with them where they are in their development plans. So we do follow up with the people on a regular basis to make sure that it happens. The assessment piece is through our proprietary MCO platform. So, this is a day in the life assessment, basically, where people, in the morning connect to their laptop and they have a diary for the day. They have close to 100 emails they need to handle with all kinds of, issues. This is fully technology enabled, and we see how they tend to prioritize, how they handle this situation, and even more importantly, they have a variety of interactions with people during the day, with a challenging direct report, with a peer they need to collaborate with, and then they have to deliver a strategic presentation to their boss. So this is just to give you a sense of the pretty challenging assessment exercise they go through during the assessment day. So this is in a nutshell
ECL, Evolution Center for Leadership for hypos. But when you move one level up, when you move to executive level, well, obviously you need to make it even more challenging. And there, the way we operate is we take them through what we call the COO challenge. So, they put themselves in the role of the COO of this organization, and they have to deal with, extra complexity. They have to deal with growth strategy, especially in India, because this is, where we are today. They have to deal with, obviously, operational and financial challenges. They have to deal with people challenges. They have to deal with the post-merger and integration conflicting situation. They have to deal with an angry customer. And then, as often, in assessment, you have some of those stupid distractions that try to steal away time from the main topics. So this is the way we operate at executive level. And for the ECE, Evolution Center for Excellence, so the process is a bit different. The before is pretty similar, but the assessment process is squeezed into a 6-hour virtual process, which could be done from anywhere at any time, so pretty easy and handy to organize. And this is where the COO challenge takes place, in addition, obviously, to an in-depth fact-finding interview. And then, for people at that level in the organization, the idea is, mobilize them not too much time, but still have a strong impact. So instead of a 3-day process, they have a 1.5-day on-site where they both receive feedback and then move into development mode. They draft their strategic plan, they create their development strategies, again with input from consultants and peers. The other thing we have observed at that level in the organization is that you do not engage people if you do not talk with them about, their career evolution, because this is, top of the list in what they want to achieve. So in addition to interacting with their consultant and coach, they have an interaction with a career advisor that spends dedicated time with them on what could the next steps of your career look like. And we have observed that this is how to get them heavily engaged in the process. And then obviously at the back end of this, they have to share the highlights with the key stakeholders within the organization, and they benefit from some support to finalize their strategic plan. So this is just to show you, 2 examples of 2 processes that we are delivering right now for 2 types of populations at 2 different levels. Okay, let's move into the benefits, and it makes sense for me here to hand it over back to Colombe in terms of what the benefits are within the Sanofi organization. As she said, we've been deploying this process for a couple of years now, and we have not taken all of the population through it. The target population is much wider, but we have sufficient background to be able to step back and articulate some benefits.
So the benefits for the participants, first of all, you have in your question, I've seen that some of you have asked how do we do in terms of retention of the talents in the company, and I think that talking about their development and their career development is really key and important, and that's one of the key parts of our talent retention strategy in Sanofi. And for the participants, this program is key to develop their self-awareness, also their network across the organization. They are working in groups of 8 to 12 people, so meeting other top talent potentials is really key for them, and to understand what does it mean for people in Sanofi to be a potential. They share peer-to-peer experience also, so defining and widening their network. They start this development journey and define their individual development plan, which is, I think, highly recognized and recognition also for them. So Sanofi shares with them that there are really people on which we want to invest, on whom we want to invest. For the region, and specifically for ITC intercontinental region, we reinforce the knowledge of our selected participants. Some of them have been identified through high performance, for example, but it's key for us to compare the high performance to the high potential. Being a high performance is not always the same than being a high potential, and this assessment made with high management is really key for us to assess the real potential of the people. So we know better our potential, and we increase the exposure of these people to the leaders, and through that we really improve our succession planning for the region. And at the global level, it's also key for Sanofi worldwide to have a clear view of the talent pipeline, to anticipate the career path and have a good map of the strengths and weaknesses of our leaders, to make sure that we can reach the challenges that we have in the business, in making sure that we develop the people on the right competencies that we will need for the future. So at the three levels, it's really a good tool, and we have very high rating of evaluation of these programs. And Pierre, you have, I know, some statistics about the evaluations made by the participants.
Yes, sure. I'm going to go fast on this because it sounds a little bit like, a kind of pro domo thing. So look how great we are. But, high potentials and executive people are not the easiest to please in an organization. So we have to say that jointly with Sanofi, because we created this together, we are reasonably proud of having those kind of ratings. You see here the overall rating, and to what extent people believe this is a real development accelerator for them. So pretty high scores on this. And what you see in the blue box, not going to read it all through, but is some verbatim when we ask people to provide feedback on the event. If I just want to highlight one, it's this, being taken out of their comfort zone. I think it's fair to say that Sanofi was not in the past a high assessment culture. People were not used to go for this. And in the beginning, normally, everybody is a bit scared about, which should we do it, how is it going to be perceived, etc. And then the feedback people give is, you did the right thing to stretch me and to take me out of my comfort zone. One level up, this is ECE, so this is at executive level. People definitely consider it contributes to their development. That they were treated with high professionalism by the consultant. I come back to the peer-to-peer. Even at executive level, you could say people compete against each other, and it's pretty difficult to have them, support each other. Well, assuming that you build the right vehicle for it, and you create the right mechanisms, and you lower down the defense mechanisms, it is possible, including at executive level, to have effective peer-to-peer support and peer-to-peer challenge. We believe this is an important ingredient, and we have feedback that this is an important ingredient as well. Comments you want to make on this? Come on.
I think that this idea of creating the peer-to-peer support in this top-level management team creates also another spirit in the management team of Sanofi, which is certainly a benefit of this program too.
Yeah, so let's say it's a side benefit. It's a small contribution, but it's our contribution to the cultural evolution that the company is going through. So this is it basically in terms of what we wanted to share with you in terms of content. We still have a bit more than 10 minutes for the webinar, and we had a series of questions. Johanna, do you want us to go directly for the questions, or do you want to phrase the questions back?
Sure, I'll do that, Pierre, just to help both of you out. So the first question that has come to us is on identification of high potential leaders. So the question is centered more around what is the right way to identify potential leaders in the pharma or a field or sales function. More generic question is also just around how are they identified and what are some of the criteria that are considered in the identification process.
So for this first question, I come back probably to the high potential framework that Pierre showed to you a few slides before. And for sure, performance is important to see the potential of the people, but also agility is one of the key elements of defining I come back to this one, to the potential of people. And we have these three ingredients, the career drive and aspiration, the agility and the confidence and the organization and capacity to build a network, which are also really key to identify someone. For the moment, we do that through our talent management process. But certainly this assessment tool is also an ingredient that we will use more and more to identify the potential of the people, or to validate the potential of the people that we have identified through our talent process. So
yeah, and if I may add to that, because there is also a little bit of question on the sales force. I mean, I'm not going to talk about Sanofi now, but in pharma, we all know that sales forces are going through significant transformation in numbers, but also significant transformation in what is the role, how is it evolving, and what are the capabilities that are going to be needed moving forward. And the people who were the most effective salespeople in the pharma industry 5 years ago are probably very different from the people that will be very effective salespeople in pharma 5 years from now. So, again, sorry, but we take this back to reflecting on the success profile. What is going to make the difference moving forward? Back to you, Tuina.
Thank you, Colombe. Thank you, Pierre. So we have another question about the identification process. Are participants identified by HR or are nomination called from the employees?
So to answer this question, I will say neither one or the other. It's more the management who identify the potentials with the support of HR, but it is really a managerial role to identify the potential in their teams. So it is through our talent management process that each year we ask managers to tell us if in their teams they feel that they have people who should grow quicker than the others, and supported by managers, but it's not the employees themselves that can, or yes, it is, but through discussions with their managers. But it's really a managerial role.
Yeah, so it's a by nomination program. You don't volunteer for such a program. It's you are being nominated by your managers with involvement of HR and likely your manager's manager.
Yeah.
Sure. Also, just to add, we did share a little bit in terms of the process as well about the identification, the process that, there are different tools which are being used to make the decision more objective and to make sure that it is backed up by data. So, hence.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next,
And
yes.
Just building on this, Tuina, when we do this kind of program, you end up with a Gaussian curve with a 20-60-20 situation. You end up with 20 people that you think, why did I not accelerate them earlier? Because they are absolutely fantastic and spot on in terms of the capabilities we want for the future. So, these ones, they immediately go in the fast lane. Then you end up with 60% roughly of the people who, yes, probably have the potential and can get there, but they have to go through robust development initiatives, and that's the vast majority of the people. And then, let's be honest and face it, you end up with roughly 20% of the people where, everybody thought there were maybe high potential. But honestly, they have too many development priorities. So, either you should take them out of this high potential bucket, or they will make lateral moves, or it will take longer for them, etc. So just to support your point on more objectivity in the evaluation. But over to you.
Thank you. So, thank you for your answer. We have another question, which is focused more on, the strategies that Sanofi is following to retain its critical talent, which I think across many of our other events and, other webinars, we have also been asked this question, and it is of prime importance because how do you actually go about retaining your high potential employees?
And as you know, we all face this issue about retaining our talents in the growing markets. And one of the key elements, and we know that through some studies that have been made by different consultant companies, that for sure the money is key in this retention, but it's not the first one. It's not the first line component of the willingness to stay in a company. And staying in the company is really more supported by strong development plans, strong development projects and actions for the people, and also through the good leadership. And that's I think that we are working on these two levels with this kind of programs, because we are working on showing people that we are developing them, that we are willing to invest on them, on their career and on their competency development, but we are also working on leadership and the different style of leadership, because through this assessment we can point out some also weaknesses sometimes on the leadership skills. So we are working with high-level participants on the ECE, on the change also of the leadership culture in the company, to make sure that we offer to our potentials and employees the best leaders where the people would like to, with whom the people would like to work more and longer. So that the two main things that we're working on with this program.
Thank you. We have another question, which is around, how do you go about developing? If you can share more about developing the success profile for identification of high potentials, and if it is the same across levels or different for different levels of high potential employees.
We have 3.5 years ago, I think, worked within Sanofi on a leadership profile, which is the same for everyone, to answer the second part of the question, and which is the lead profile built on 8 competencies. And this one is the cornerstone of all our HR processes, and covers different items like thinking strategically, networking, work with clients, lead teams, develop people, etc. And so this one is shared around the company, but we have also developed for this high potential a specific talent profile, success profile, which is built on 4 different parts, in fact, and I will let Pierre go through this leadership profile, which has been built specifically for the talent, the identified talent people.
So back to the 4 quadrants, basically. Beyond this foundation, which is normally, the common DNA of all Sanofi people, which are the 8 dimensions of the lead model, 4 high potentials, 4 people who need to be in the fast track. We have developed jointly some, specific capabilities and some specific personal attributes. And to be transparent with you, there are 2 success profiles, one for high potential level and one for executive level. Those 2 success profiles, they have a few things in common, but they also are differentiated because at executive level, the level of complexity is higher, and also the need to be fully credible with a variety of stakeholders is even more important. But for obvious confidentiality reasons, we're not going to go into the details. But yes, there is a foundational leadership profile developed by Sanofi as a company, and then there are 2 success profiles, one specific for hypo and the other one specific for exec population. Over to you, Turina.
Thank you. I think we would just want to take only one last question, which has come in, and we'll close the session with that. The question is about, do you have external coaches involved in the coaching sessions?
And for this program, the answer is yes, definitely, because we all know that a couple of things. First one is we are not talking here about a 6, 9, or 12 month coaching. We are talking here about 3 very focused sessions in terms of what the person is doing with his or her development plan, and ensuring that this development plan is successfully put in place and executed. So it's a kind of very targeted coaching as opposed to a generic overall coaching. And here, the way we address it is that because the participants have built the relationship and built the trust with the consultant and coach in the first place when they have participated in ECL or ECE events, well, we keep the same people. I mean, except if on one very rare occasion they say, I'm not very comfortable working with this person. But 95% of the time, the coaching sessions are delivered by the very person who delivered the feedback, and they have started to interact with, and they have started to build a trust relationship with. Want to comment, Nicolas?
No, maybe just to add that after these 3 coaching sessions, as I said, that the HR managers take the follow-up in charge, and that we don't let it go like that. We keep it internally also with following with the participants. And yes, I think that we'll see very, very soon, and in 2014 we'll probably have a much better pipeline for our talents in Sanofi.
Okay.
I guess that's
Thank
it
you so
on our
much.
side.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, Colombe. Thank you, Pierre. It was a really wonderful and informative session today, and it's really good to know how such a large organization like Sanofi has invested in high potential development and the process that is involved, because having doing such an exercise on a large scale basis across regions and across levels is a very intensive exercise. So to make sure that the experience for all your high potentials are kind of uniform across levels is the same is really important, and to make sure that it is aligned to the business objectives of the organization overall. So with that, we come to the close of today's session. I would like to thank again Colombe and Pierre for taking time out from their busy schedules and joining us from France to share with us their experience. And we will share, with a lot more questions which have come in, but we will take them on one-on-one, and some questions are being answered across our other events, especially like when we are speaking about measuring ROI of high potential programs. We'll be happy to have you join those sessions as well, and we look forward to speaking with you more across the week. Tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday, we have more events coming to you. Thank you, Pierre. Thank you, Colombe. Over to you, Puni.
Thank you so much, Tohina. And with this question and answer session, we are going to wrap up this very second webinar in its series for the Hypo Week. We would like to thank our partner in this initiative, Right Management. A special thanks to Colombe and Pierre for taking out time from their schedules and sharing their experiences and insights. Thank you so much, everybody in the webinar audience, for participating in today's presentation. Please do join us tomorrow. Don't forget to log in at 12:30 p.m. for the very first tweet chat with Yashwant Mahadik from Philips, who would talk about the recipe of a perfect Hypo program. Do follow us at #HypoWeek for updates on Twitter, as well as do visit the website peoplematters.in/Hypo for complete details around this initiative. That does conclude today's webcast. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great day ahead. Thanks.